make sure I'm understanding this correctly. The mainstream media, the proud defenders of the unprofitable business of women's basketball, the mainstream media who has spent years trying to convince us that women's basketball is must-see TV instead of what it actually is, which is get off my TV. You mean to tell me the media is publicly admitting that Unrivaled is struggling?
For years, the media wrapped itself in the role of women's basketball's fearless protector, shielding the league from criticism and shutting down anyone who questioned its future. But now, the mask is slipping. No PR spin, no gentle framing, just open admissions that Unrivaled is in real trouble. And the most shocking part isn't the struggle itself, it's who is finally saying it. The narrative isn't being challenged behind closed doors anymore. It's breaking live on the record in real time. So what flipped the switch? Why are yesterday's loudest cheerleaders suddenly pulling the fire alarm? And what does this reversal expose about the money, the power, and the truths they spent years refusing to admit?
Well, earlier today, this morning in fact, I dropped a video about Unrivaled ratings being straight trash. I mean complete dog shiznit, right? And they are. They've fallen off a cliff. Now, something I did not mention, the ratings have went down versus last year, despite there being a new television rating system that has, as we've seen, artificially inflated numbers versus previous years, and the numbers are still way down.
At this point, there's no need for drama or suspense. This isn't a vibes problem. It's a math problem. Attendance has been soft from the start. Viewership hasn't come close to the projections. And the gap between online hype and real-world support? It's impossible to explain away. Social media sold Unrivaled as a cultural moment. But the empty seats told a completely different story. Likes were loud. The arenas were quiet.
This isn't the woke media that I know to be completely useless. This isn't the media that has a long history of polishing the turd. This is unprecedented. The media is actually telling us the truth. Last year, they were trying to convince us that Unrivaled was taking over the world. Have you seen these ratings? I haven't seen ratings this high since Beavis.
This is the same media machine that spent years insisting women's basketball is must-see television. Not good, not growing, mandatory viewing. But for most viewers, that's never been the reality. At best, it's background noise. At worst, it's a channel-changing moment. And that disconnect between what people were told to watch and what they actually chose to watch is the quiet truth the media avoided for years.
Most concerningly, with second-year ratings on TNT were lackluster. Unrivaled's opening slate on January the 5th, which kicked off with a Monday afternoon game, averaged 175k viewers in the first two games to air on both TNT and True TV. So basically, they averaged 175k airing on two channels. Airing on two channels at the same time. That's not good. The two True TV exclusive games on January 5th averaged 32,000 viewers.
And now that same media is quietly floating a new idea, that Unrivaled may already be drifting toward irrelevance or worse, outright failure. That shift in tone isn't subtle, and it shouldn't go unnoticed.
Nobody's watching it. Nobody's talking about it. I don't understand what's going on. It seems as though a lot of this conflict of interest stuff is coming out more and more, with the co-founders of Unrivaled also being on the board of the WNBPA, not getting a deal done, that benefiting Unrivaled, all of these things. But Brianna Stewart had to address the opening week ratings for Unrivaled as they were down more than 6.
This isn't the familiar media reflexively defending every women's basketball project, no matter the results. It's not the version that polishes weak products and repackages them as cultural milestones either. This is something different, and frankly, unprecedented. Because for once, the narrative is lining up with what people can actually see. The media isn't spinning. It isn't selling hope. It's telling the truth. Just a year ago, the messaging couldn't have been more different. Unrivaled was framed as the next sports juggernaut, destined to take over the landscape. Ratings were hyped. Momentum was promised. Confidence was endless. That illusion has now cracked. And what's being quietly admitted today is what's been obvious for a long time. Interest in women's basketball remains minimal, painfully so. That statement sounds harsh only because it collides head-on with a narrative that was never grounded in reality to begin with.
So the Unrivaled ratings are in to begin season 2, and they're not great. To be honest, what should have been kind of expected. This is the second season. You're probably going to peak at the first time you come out, which last year I believe they were in the 300s, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to pull up the numbers in just a second. The Athletics' Ben Pickman put them out. I saw people talking about the key demo rating as well. That was like kind of some misinformation from folks that don't know how ratings.
The problem here goes way beyond ratings, because declining viewership is easy to measure, but the real issue runs much deeper. This isn't just about empty seats or underwhelming numbers. It's about a fundamental lack of connection with the audience, a problem that's existed for years and has never been seriously addressed. And one of the most obvious, yet least discussed, reasons is this. The league's public face is dominated by personalities that viewers simply don't like. As women's basketball, especially the WNBA, has evolved, it's also developed a culture of entitlement that doesn't invite fans in. It pushes them away. Criticism is brushed off as hatred. Accountability is reframed as oppression. That mindset doesn't build loyalty. It repels curiosity and punishes anyone who isn't already on board. And this isn't just a sports problem. It mirrors a broader entertainment pattern. Take Misson, for example. He entered mainstream entertainment through MTV's The Real World. Back to New York, then rode multiple seasons of The Challenge at a time when being an MTV personality could actually sustain a comfortable, long-term career. The lesson there is simple. Audiences support personalities they connect with, and walk away from ones they don't.
Brianna Stewart. This is on Sports Illustrated. Brianna Stewart addresses disappointing Unrivaled viewership numbers. Now, before we even get to the article, I'm a little confused on how did you not see this? How did you not see this coming? Nobody was talking about Unrivaled prior to the Unrivaled season starting. All the talk was about the WNBA CBA. I feel like the promotion for Unrivaled this year wasn't what it was like.
Despite the opportunity MTV gave him, his ambition went way beyond reality TV. The real goal? Becoming a WWE superstar. But stepping into wrestling as the reality TV guy came with an immediate price. He landed at the very bottom of the hierarchy. Skepticism, ridicule, hostility. Not just from fans, but from fellow wrestlers who saw him as unearned, undeserving MTV baggage. The disrespect was brutal. Banned from the locker room. Forced to change in a utility closet with cleaning supplies. Constantly reminded that his past would define him forever, no matter how hard he worked. But here's the twist that makes this story resonate. It's not the humiliation itself that matters. It's how he handled it. He never complained publicly. Never demanded special treatment. Never leaned on his fame for more screen time. Because nothing was handed to him. Management didn't bend. Audiences weren't guilt. Respect had to be earned. And over time it was.
I don't know how you spin that any other way but disappointing. I think Unrivaled Season 2 has a lot working against it. Obviously, I think it has even less star power than it did last year. A lot of this is falling on Paige Becker's back, and Paige Becker's has never been any kind of ratings dynamo or anything, and they gave her the primetime slot against last year's champions. I checked out, I want to say the afternoon session. I was watching it, and I saw the first.
That reality stands in stark contrast to the prevailing culture in women's basketball. Here, reward often comes before the effort, and players can seem unwilling to endure the unglamorous grind of building an audience. Yet, they demand outcomes that are supposed to follow sustained work, not precede it. A sense of entitlement runs deep. Financial rewards, media attention, cultural relevance, all assumed to be automatic. But entitlement never builds loyalty or respect, especially in entertainment, where audiences ultimately decide what thrives and what dies, no matter how aggressively it's marketed. And the numbers tell the story loud and clear. According to Front Office Sports, Unrivaled second season has seen ratings so low, they barely register by modern broadcast standards. On January 5th, 2 games aired on True TV averaged roughly 32,000 viewers. Let that sink in, a number that would raise alarms for any nationally televised sport regardless of context. Here's the truth nobody admits: hype doesn't equal viewers. Unrivaled isn't failing for lack of talent. It's failing because entitlement and disconnect finally caught up. Audiences decide the winners. Right now, the scoreboard is staring them in the face. So tell me, is this a shift or the inevitable reckoning? Drop your thoughts below, hit subscribe, and stay tuned.